All right, welcome and thank you for joining today's webinar, How to Thrive During the Holiday Capacity Crunch with LoadSmart and MercuryGate. Please know that the session is being recorded and will be shared with all registrants following the webinar. We'll have time for a few questions at the end of the webinar, so please submit any questions you have in the question pane of your control panel. I'll be facilitating the Q&A from there. Today, we're happy to co-present with LoadSmart's strategic partner, MercuryGate. Hope Better, Senior Director of Pre-Sales at MercuryGate, and Lauren Brown, Senior Manager of Strategic Partner Sales at LoadSmart, will provide an overview of how to thrive during the holiday capacity crunch. With that said, I'll hand it over to Lauren to begin.
Thanks, Adrienne. Hope and I are really excited to be here today and to present to everyone, and like Adrienne said, how you can really thrive during this holiday capacity crunch. There's a great opportunity to leverage technology both via MercuryGate and the LoadSmart MercuryGate integration. Some things that offers to shippers are instant pricing, 100% tender acceptance. The TMS is ready to go, and we provide exceptional service throughout. We'll get deeper into that as we go through the presentation here. To that end, LoadSmart has created our Smart Truckload product, which a lot of shippers, 3PLs, and carriers are already leveraging. And our approach is to leverage technology and our strategic partnerships to automate how loads are priced, booked, sourced, scheduled, and tracked. It's important to note that we take complete operational ownership and legal liability for every single load we move. The integration is free. LoadSmart does not charge at all. You'll only ever pay LoadSmart the amount that you agree to pay for each given load. And because we're integrated right into MercuryGate, you never have to leave your native platform. We assign every single shipper a single point of contact. That's their dedicated account manager.
That's fantastic, Lauren. And from a MercuryGate perspective, I'm going to share with you all a little bit about our MercuryGate vision. So we have a very straightforward vision that has remained constant over the course of our 20-year history. And that is to build the world's first and largest SaaS-based transportation management platform. And that's exactly what we've accomplished through the unique blend of people, products, and technology. There are three things about our vision that differentiates MercuryGate in the marketplace. First, we are a technology company who specializes in transportation as our singular focus. In fact, small, medium, and large-sized companies subscribe to our platform because we have one focus, which is transportation. Two, we build the industry's first SaaS-based TMS platform. And of course, our track record really shows that it's a matter of leveraging our customers and working with them to increase the stability of the application, the architecture, the security, and of course, being scalable as they grow. MercuryGate grows with them. And three, really, we operate the largest SaaS-based TMS platform on a global basis, and we measure that in terms of our customers, volumes, and of course, those deployments. Now, let's take a look at our customers and some of those metrics. So when evaluating a TMS solution, it's important to look at the provider's history, capabilities, reach, and of course, scalability. MercuryGate has built an infrastructure really that positions all of this in the marketplace. And of course, our impressive customer universe of over 1.3 million deployed customers and shippers really allows us to claim that position in the world's marketplace, as being one of the TMS provider and one of the leaders. But more so importantly is really that network providers provide that wealth of information, system usage, and functionality really represent the key infrastructure that provides MercuryGate to be the forefront of the transportation innovation of our industry, and really coupling that with our customers. And of course, our customers leverage the MercuryGate platform to move roughly over $60 billion in annual freight spend. Now, there's a lot of numbers on this screen, and you certainly can read those for yourself. But what I really want to call out is we have a large global footprint with deployments in over 126 countries, and over 10% of our shipments or originating and ending outside of the US. So, there are approximately 50 different countries represented in our 3.1 million daily logins. So MercuryGate definitely has a large international customer footprint.
So what Hope and I would like to talk about today is really 5 key buckets to evaluate and then to act on, and how you can really thrive during this very unprecedented holiday crunch season that we're just about to embark on. So first and foremost, be a better shipper. We're seeing shippers really take this very seriously and striving to be a best-in-class shipper of choice. And here are some things to consider about how you can act on that and do that. You can improve your facilities. Carriers really like to have flexibility with their appointment times and decrease detention. Nobody likes to have their truck detained, and shippers don't like paying detention fees. And speaking of fees, really getting to know the accessorials and be prepared to compensate your trucking partners for the additional time and effort that they may have to put in, making this painless for them. And lastly, improved communication. Maximize lead time for booking when you can. So as soon as you know a shipment is ready to execute, getting that done in your MercuryGate TMS, it'll give your carriers time to position their equipment, and everybody can be best prepared. And being clear on your volume expectations. So now it's really a game of gaining that capacity. And the best way to do that is to give your providers an accurate depiction and assessment of how much they can expect to have to haul on your behalf. Secondly, evaluate the tender process and the technology that you're using to do that. So asking yourself these 4 questions. Are you worried about leaving money on the table? Do you think you're spending more money on your transportation than you need to? Are you using more headcount than you have to if you were leaning on something like technology to handle the increased volume that we're going to experience during the holiday crunch? Are you able to accurately forecast and keep to your budget? Are you going above budget and having to spend more than you anticipated? And are you experiencing service disruptions? Are shipments not being picked up? Are they being rolled? Are they being delivered late? Are you losing track of where your loads are at any given point in time? If you answered yes to any one of these questions, or even worse, more than one of them, it's really time to consider how you can leverage technology to help gain efficiency. So thinking about things like the routing guides that are available to you and the benchmark data, Hope, what are you seeing from your customers, how they're really getting ahead by looking at MercuryGate to help optimize some of these available products?
Yeah, so from the routing guide perspective, a lot of our customers in the shipping space really do have contractual rates with their carriers. And what we're finding is they are taking the opportunity to renegotiate some of those rates or revisit them to ensure that the rating is coupled with committed capacity. And then, of course, having those route guides built so they can execute automation through waterfall tendering while still having some of those preferences in the ranking as it gets tendered out. The other big one that we're seeing really is from the benchmark rates. And we have a lot of customers that really want to leverage what is out in the open market, right, from a benchmarking standpoint as it comes to either contractual rating or spot transactional rating. And using key feature functionalities, and MercuryGate does have something built within our own application, which is a rate, really that freight rate index that allows you to be able to drill down and analyze the rating from either, like I said, the contract or the spot rate, being able to see the averages for, customer rates versus carrier rates, and even being able to break out those averages to specific modes or equipment, and then evaluating if fuel is coupled into it or not, really gives those end users and the planners that competitive capability to be able to appropriately negotiate rates and know what that price point is out in the marketplace and what they should be buying and selling the freight for. So those are all very key to the success and continuing to be forecasting into the future as we build a little bit more into the holiday season. As we continue to look at technology, think about considering having your TMS really be that golden record. Ensure that you're taking full advantage of the features and functionalities that your TMS has to offer. Automate workflows and reduce user manual effort where at all possible. Ensure that the training that's provided really is targeted training and focused on what you need those end users to do, and let the TMS do any of the back end or automate any of those manual processes that you possibly can. And of course, that consideration of, are you taking full advantage of new release content, including integration? This is an area that not everybody really considers. So having real-time or as close to real-time updates on moves can really help with being proactive when it comes to detection of an issue on a move. And while we talk about, shifting to that everyday duty of tracking and tracing to a more focused and at the exception process stance. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in our conversation today. But that's definitely an area that, let the TMS be that golden record. Let that help you out there. And of course, coupling the automation and integrations into process streamlining. Are the processes of execution and data collection as clean and consistent as they possibly could be? All of those things are beneficial, but having them all coupled into one place really can be the key to success.
Exactly. So LoadSmart spent a lot of time, invested a lot of technology, and meeting shippers where they already are in their MercuryGate TMS, for example, providing the tracking updates there via API and getting that real-time visibility from our carrier partners. So we integrated with the leading ELD providers so we could get that information in real time and pass that along to you, again, right within the MercuryGate TMS. Customers are wanting to know, where's my order? So by having that information easily accessible to you so you can in turn pass that along to your customers where need be is really valuable. Thirdly, the optimization of load planning and how to make sure that you're really planning for success, thinking about that proactively and getting those route guides built for optimal success when capacity is so constrained like it is right now.
Yeah, and definitely as the holiday season continues to build and we really are ramping up to peak of that holiday season, the transportation industry will continue to see capacity get tighter and tighter. Performing route planning and optimization can assist with, really conducting the most optimized moves, leading to that ability to have, least cost and execute that freight more systematically, but it also takes the guesswork out of that planning process. Additionally, being able to run multiple optimizations where the parameters are modified can assist with seeing those what-if scenarios and how they can impact the cost in the carrier selection process. But don't forget, having that ability to set optimization parameters and automate the process, really having it be a hands-off functionality, still ensures that the doors are open for planning consolidations and considerations such as mode shifting, zone skipping, considerations for pooling, cross-docking for consolidation, and deconsolidation for final mile deliveries. Evaluating and leveraging the full network of your facilities and locations can certainly yield cost savings and even improve performance by the carriers based every time optimizations. And again, making it be a little bit more automated to take that hands off so your end users know that the system is building off of parameters that you corporately have identified meet the business success values. But as we, kind of look at that optimization and that route planning, we really go to the carrier selection, and that is the final planning key to the success of an executionable move within the network. So keeping that finger on the performance pulse of your carrier base is essential. Understanding how your carriers are performing for you can assist in managing costs and mitigating risk, in poor performance for not only yourself, but also to your customers. Having a TMS such as MercuryGate that can, really do that for you, that carrier scorecarding capability is native to the application. And it really takes that manual effort out of evaluating those key KPI measurables, such as what we have on the screen. Are the carriers on time for pickup and delivery? Are the drivers that you're working with in your fleet compliant? And are the carriers responsive to your requests? Meaning, are they accepting, rejecting, or allowing tenders to go stale with no reply at all, leaving you in the lurch, not knowing if they're going to pick up the freight. And of course, are they on time and accurate with their billing? And, do you see a high number of claims with those providers? And if you are working with your own private fleet, is the equipment that's being utilized current in all inspections and service and maintenance? These are really key indicators that you're going to track, and you are tracking those to have those tough conversations if need be with the carrier base, either for increased volume or internally making a shift to a new provider. So having this all teed up for you is optimal in your success.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this process can really be time consuming. So the nice part about having the LoadSmart integration is it's a 1-to-many ratio. By working with LoadSmart and putting us in the routing guide, you're getting access to over 500,000 trucks by onboarding one single scat code. And it's very similar with the MercuryGate experience in terms of that 1-to-many relationship.
Yeah, and within MercuryGate, the customers collectively manage over 100,000 carriers, and that connection number really is growing on a daily basis within our network.
Another thing we're seeing shippers do with great success is leveraging the mode optimization. If you have additional time to move shipments over to intermodal, because transit time isn't as tight, there's a huge opportunity to save some money there. We're seeing full truckload rates up 22%, whereas average intermodal rates remain at about 10 to 20% lower. Conversely, if you do need it there faster, you may want to move intermodal over to full truckload so you can hit those transit times.
Yeah, and I think the key to that is using a comprehensive TMS really empowers that decision making to be removed from the end user's hand and have it be system generated. MercuryGate, for example, is mode agnostic. What we mean really is, you can have set parameters from a pickup and a delivery window, and you can have rates with multiple modes. Let the system tell you how you should execute the move, what providers, what mode, what service you provide to still meet those critical success values of being on time while reducing your cost. So again, being able to do that mode shift from potentially truckload to intermodal or intermodal to truckload, those types of things, really that planning comes into play within the application as well. So great call on that one.
And speaking of modes, another key mode to consider, especially as we're trying to fulfill these holiday orders, is of course port drayage. So really, as soon as those containers hit the port, it's time for domestic transportation to kick in. And the first piece of that is drayage, right? Getting your container out of the port and into your warehouse. So the LoadSmart Smart Drayage program is really unique in that we've solved a lot of the ancient problems that have existed with drayage. Fragmented platforms and interfaces, lack of communication, and really just utter lack of optimization. So what this allows you to do is, just like our full truckload solution, offer instant quoting and booking. Our integrations with the terminals allow you to have that access to know when is your container available, where is it on the peel pile, allowing your truckers to get in there and get the freight off and out of there more quickly, which facilitates them being able to do more turns. So if they're able to be more efficient, they're able to pass those cost savings along. So getting things done more quickly at a lesser cost is really nirvana. And we're getting the freight back into your warehouse. We're seeing a shift from 2-day delivery used to be really where it was at, and now customers are wanting things in 2 hours. So any time you can save during this process is really just a great experience for your customers. And if you can save money while doing it, well, then you've really got it made. So, and more on eliminating these bottlenecks and getting in and out of facilities faster. As I mentioned, there's increased pressure on shippers to really reduce the time of when a customer purchased something to when it arrives at their home or at the store. So with our smart drayage, we gain priority access to the BCO containers. So we're getting the closest first on the peel pile, we're getting on the truck, and we're getting it out of there. So reducing that wait time, and again, providing this real-time tracking information to you right within the MercuryGate TMS. So if you think about the LoadSmart pile and getting that container on top, as opposed to having to wait while the containers are shifted around in the peel pile to yours, which may be on the bottom, having that integration with the marine terminals allows us to know exactly which container is really ready to go and to be moved out of the port. So getting in and out of this facilities, what does this do? I mean, really, what does that net out to? Better pricing, right? So we are consolidating a bunch of services in one. Our integrated services provide transload, consolidation, deconsolidation, and storage. So having everything bundled into one streamlines the process. So you're getting better pricing, one move versus having a bunch of different bills come in. And in a world where we're trying to really figure out a landed cost of what did this cost me to move this commodity from here to there, it's great to have everything bundled into one, which from an operational perspective provides that efficiency of faster service. LoadSmart guarantees capacity independent of the schedules and less overhead because you're doing this again through one provider. It's completely streamlined, so you're using less people to do the same tasks. It's really all about automation. I think one thing among steps 1 through 5 is getting shippers to really automate what they've been doing and leverage the technology that they already have in place and gain more from it.
Yeah, and as you hear the conversation, and Lauren, you and I both have mentioned, a few times during our talk here today, time is so valuable. And leveraging all avenues to automate processes for optimization, carrier selection, to tracking and tracing will allow resources to focus on, that next opportunity and manage only the exceptions in the current freight in transit. If we take a look only at the tracking and tracing portion of this, consider the strength and empowerment of having a TMS that provides a dashboard, internal notifications of exceptions, based on ETA calculations, allowing resources to be able to now predict a possible problem based on system-provided information. Now they can proactively intercept and address those loads at risk of being in jeopardy of, some kind of a service failure. But the critical key here is having and receiving those statuses and in-transit updates. Leveraging integrations such as Carrier EDI and API allows those updates to flow into the TMS at real or near real time. And of course, we're talking about the exception management. And today, using partners such as LoadSmart, you can even outsource that level of exception management to you all, correct?
Absolutely. For each and every load that we handle, we're taking that on in-house. So we like to think of a set it and forget it type policy for our customers. Once you tender that load to LoadSmart, you can rest assured, number one, the time associated with that rate discovery was zero, where MercuryGate is calling our API, we're returning that instantly bookable load, guaranteeing 100% tender acceptance, and it's all streamlined right within your existing routing guide or spot portal. Secondly, every facet of that shipment, from getting the pickups and delivery scheduled, providing the tracking and tracing, and the exception management is handled by your account manager. So should you ever have a question or need something expedited or have something that you just need to look into further, that's your single stop shop. You pick up the phone, you send a text message, an email, and your account manager is there and waiting for you to help you with anything you need. There's no more of the days of calling and getting transferred around and having to repeat the same tracking number. You will really get that experience of having one person know your business, know your customers, and know your vendors.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think what gives the MercuryGate LoadSmart partnership a really unique advantage is, shippers know their business in and out, but we really get to see what a whole bunch of shippers are doing. What are other carriers doing? What are 3PLs doing, right? So we really get to see what are best in class practices, right? So what MercuryGate and LoadSmart did is partner to say, who are shippers that have really thrived throughout this very difficult market, right? And what are they doing? What are the commonalities that they have that are allowing them to thrive while everybody else is struggling, right? And what we found was that for these shippers, they're using 94% of their loads through a routing guide. Of those, 90% are an auto tender, which is saving a lot of time. If you can have the great TMS do what a human being doesn't need to do and do it faster and more efficiently, then you're freeing up those man hours, those human hours, to take on the more relevant, more important tasks that can't be subbed out to a machine or to technology, right? And where LoadSmart really comes in handy, particularly in this capacity constrained market, is it's not a paper rate. As soon as we insert that instantly bookable rate into your routing guide, it's auto accepted. So within a total of 3 seconds, you get a quote, the tender is sent, the tender is accepted, and you can move on to the next important thing that you have to do in your day. So taking a more tactical look at this, if we think about an RFP, and I know this is a real pain for shippers right now, shippers will execute an RFP with the hopes of locking in rates that will last for 12 months. Well, I think 2020 has shown us that sometimes that's just not feasible. We're seeing primary tender rejections surge above 25%. So that means sometimes a quarter of the time, your best plans did not actually go according to plan. So if we think about your database of rates that you procured from your RFP process, when your primary carriers are rejecting these loads, two things happen. You're wasting time, you're disrupting service, right? And what does that lead to? Higher costs. But by having the LoadSmart API rate right within the waterfall, as it flows through and once it hits to LoadSmart, you can grab up that capacity without wasting the additional time and then move on to the next load or the next task in your day that you really need to handle. So how do we get started? For shippers who are not already engaged with the LoadSmart API, it's really simple. It's really just very fast. So number one, engage with a LoadSmart representative. Adrian will be sharing my contact information so I can get you to the appropriate person from within LoadSmart. At that point, we hold a planning kickoff call. We really go under the hood to understand your business goals, your strategies, your unique needs, so we can help you configure the TMS to meet those goals. Implementation is fast and simple. LoadSmart and MercuryGate work together to get all of the really hard engineering work already done. So it's a very quick implementation. We test it and then we go live, and now you have instant capacity that will help you thrive during this holiday capacity crunch.
Thank you, Lauren and Hope. Let's jump right into these questions. First, what do you expect would be different about this holiday season versus others?
Yeah, that's a really good question. As capacity constraints really took an uptick in 2020, and there's really no end in sight. And we do foresee that, with the holiday season, it's going to continue to be very constrained and very tight, compounding obviously the buying behavior shifts, changed over the last several months. I'm not going into stores. I don't know if, very many people are going into stores for shopping. So there's a lot more online shopping and delivering to home, which is causing some of those additional capacity constraints. And as we look to that coming into the holiday season and the gift giving, those are going to compound with those constraints. Lauren, I know that you guys are also seeing some things on your side as it comes to, the shift in 2020 with the holiday season.
Yeah, I really think you hit on it, Hope. It's just a shift in consumer behavior. We're not purchasing services anymore. We're not traveling, right? We're visiting salons and spas less, if at all. We're going to concerts less, if at all. So it's not like we're necessarily saving that money. We're just buying goods instead, which means they have to get on a truck and they have to get to our home. So it's definitely buying up capacity. And when we see that surge of the holiday gift giving, it's only going to constrain it further.
Great. Another question. I'm in the market for a new TMS. Why should I choose MercuryGate?
Yeah, absolutely. Love those questions. So MercuryGate is 100% a SaaS-based application. So it's accessible via any internet-enabled device with a 99.996% uptime. But really, there are 4 key reasons for selecting MercuryGate. The first is optimization. We covered that a little bit today, but customer statistics validate that optimization can yield you anywhere between a 5 to 20% reduction of freight costs. So really substantial. Visibility. having the platform enable customers to gain, traditional benefits and in-transit visibility provides, customer service enablement and retention and improvements with their customers. So, customers are able to come in and view, but not only can your end users use the application from a visibility standpoint, both internal, external can log in. So you can have buyers, customer service suppliers, carriers, all those different parties logging in and have the visibility that you, the customer of MercuryGate, want them to have. So that's really key from a visibility perspective. Productivity, the majority of our customers measure their productivity, whether it be by orders, shipments, or loads processed per day. They really are looking at that productivity. So really driving the application to assist with user-guided workflows that either support or build either low-touch or even no-touch environment for those end users. So how can we enable productivity within those resources? And of course, the final one is really time to value. Simply put, our customers want to cost justify their ongoing investment in MercuryGate. It really is the fastest time frame as possible can they get. So our multi-tenant SaaS architecture, our web-based micro-learning modules for education really contribute to that rapid and low-risk setup and implementation for our customers, so they are actually able to, in a quicker fashion, to get time to value and start executing within the application and the platform to gain and grow that business. So, just some quick highlights as to why MercuryGate.
Thank you. Another question, will enabling the LoadSmart integration put LoadSmart in all of my routing guides?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is no, not necessarily. We've set up this integration so it's completely customizable from a configuration standpoint. So some shippers opt to start by region or by load planner or by inbound or outbound. Other shippers say, I want benchmarking for every load that moves through the MercuryGate TMS, turn it on there. So that's part of the onboarding kickoff call as we understand your strategy and your requirements, and we configure the TMS to meet those needs. And then as you become more comfortable, more confident with the LoadSmart service price package, you can expand from there.
Great. And if LoadSmart doesn't charge for the integration, how does LoadSmart monetize?
Yeah, another great question. So at the end of the day, we're a broker. We're a digital broker. Our roots, just like MercuryGate, are really in technology, but we monetize like any other broker. The delta between what we charge the customer and what we pay our carrier is how we monetize.
Wonderful. With that, I'd like to say thank you all for joining today. I hope you found the webinar valuable and were able to learn something. If we did not get to your question, I assure you will reach out directly. I've also included contact information here, so we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you all again and have a great day.